What's up everyone, welcome back to another live stream. Happy month, happy December for everyone, and happy weekend as well, happy Sunday. I hope you guys are enjoying your weekend. And yeah, let's start the last month of the year in a good way. So if you are new, welcome, feel free to subscribe to the channel. Basically today we are going to look at market, try to predict what we can expect for next week. Basically, it's going to be a busy week. It's going to be the first week of the month, and as always, the first week of the month is dedicated to the labor market in the US. We're going to have different data being released about the labor market in the US. We're going to have job openings. That's going to be on Tuesday, if I'm not mistaken. No, that's actually going, yeah, it's exactly on Tuesday. Then we most likely had ADP on Wednesday, yes, and then NFP on Friday, with of course unemployment claims every Thursday as well. So that's basically what you're going to have. Looking ahead, trying to see where eventually is going to be price in the market by Friday, when eventually get to the NFP day, which apparently is expected to increase from 4.1% to 4.2%. All right, so let's take a look at the market. Aside from that, not really many news going on next week. Again, the sentiment is it's kind of calm. Good reaction on Friday. We saw price moving to the upside on the indices. We noticed that finally the dollar is having that correction, something that we talked about last week. Like even the days before, we already talked about that we were expecting, now that the dollar index broke those important highs, to start looking for a move to the downside. Looking at what the market's expecting in terms of what the Fed's going to do in 18 days from now, for the last FOMC meeting of the year. Nothing really changed in here. It remains the same. It remains where the odds are at this point, 66% for another rate cut of 25 basis points, and finishing the year with that 4.25 the rate, instead of that of the current rate that we have right now. Oh, sorry, 4.5. So we'll see what's going to happen in there. We do have Pedro speaking on Wednesday, so we'll see if he's going to say anything interesting. He's going to be somewhere in New York for a conference, so we'll see. All right, let's jump into the market and let's pay attention to what we can expect in here on the dollar, now that price looks like it's actually correcting, just as like we predict 1 week ago. Right, so from where we were and from where we are right now, price basically was, again, it opened with a gap for the weekend and closed the gap and start moving to the downside. Like we mentioned last week, that if price starts by any chance start breaking these lows in here, it starts opening the door for price to go further down, where this could be a level where it could see some reaction, and we saw a little bit of a reaction. But because these lows were also a break of the previous structure in there, we weren't actually anticipating that price eventually would even break this structure, and this level in here would actually be used more of as a kind of a selling zone, basically a level of demand turning into a level of supply, where price perhaps could react from after breaking new lows, after breaking the structure, could react from there and continue to push to the downside. And that's exactly what we had. All right, so now we are looking for the dollar index, of course, to continue to move a little bit lower. We are going to look at a higher time frame, try to see what is the next key level in here that you can look for. Another situation is, if price by any chance retraces back to the highs, should we be expecting price to still respect the highs? Right, basically, if price by any chance comes back into here next week, and it can, should we be looking for price to drop again from that level to respect the highs, create kind of a double top situation and push lower? Right, that's the question mark at this point, if that's about to happen. For that, or to answer that question, we need to try to see, even within those highs, if it makes sense for us to look for any if there is any orders left, if there are any orders left behind at around that level, around those highs. Also, we need to be aware where actually the low is reacting from. Right, for example, if that low now is starting to approach closer to this level and maybe reacts from here, maybe that's just the target that that price wanted to or was looking for, and the space that it filled closer to that next zone, and from here the bullishness on the dollar may continue. We will see. Right now, the reality is that in the bigger picture, at least in my opinion, we did manage to break an important level of structure. Like, we broke all of those highs, even that one as well, which, again, as we mentioned last week, we talked about that. It makes it a good level to look for a retracement. But in my opinion, we are still bullish in here. Okay, I think eventually the dollar index could go, and now we did manage. Dollar index was ranging within this level for a couple of years at this point. It was a really strong move to the upside that we had in October and November, until basically the last week of November we had this correction in here. So somewhere around this level, this structure can be quite interesting. We already broke through these last levels in here that could also work a little bit of a support, kind of resistance turning into support. Basically that already happened, and it was respected around this level when this wall was created, which starts cleaning a little bit of the orders, which means that price can actually move even further down. And that's what we're going to potentially expect. This level can definitely be a zone where dollar index may continue to move a little bit lower until it gets closer to this level in here. Now, we can look at maybe at this structure, which maybe it was already some reaction in here, which starts looking at this zone in there, or then into this level again. Right, basically I'm talking about potentially this structure in here, which we can consider this lows in here or all the way there, and then maybe a little bit of the structure in here as well. Right, so that starts to be a little bit of the levels, and then as you continue even looking from this level in here, so this perhaps was maybe a supply level in here that maybe price reacted a little bit, and then we are looking at this structure in here as well, which basically already this low already reacted from that level in there. So that's what we're going to be looking for. If there's any chance or any reason for price to bounce from one of these levels, maybe to have in a lower time frame, maybe we do have something in here that yeah, that this dollar index may react from. Yeah, it can be something. In addition to that, we can of course maybe track some kind of trend line. Maybe this dollar index is creating some kind of a trend line in here, and before even attempting to look further up, which dollar index may go towards to again, we need to start seeing some highs being broken. So that's another one. We need to see at least some of the structures here being broken to the upside before price finally has some kind of turn in here. So that's something also that we can track, and you can pay attention to see if that's going to be the opportunity in there. And then at the highs, as I mentioned, is there any chance, for example, price could correct a little bit, maybe tomorrow makes another leg down, then on Tuesday starts turning a little bit, of course maybe not so much, okay, then maybe on Tuesday has another leg down in here and then kind of starts turning, and then Wednesday, Thursday, and then kind of on Friday perhaps is somewhere in here. Like maybe Wednesday and Thursday spend somewhere around this level, and then on Friday is somewhere in here for the NFP. Like, would it make sense for price to actually short again in there or not? And that's the question. I think the approach is going to matter. If price starts breaking lows, even us approaching that level, maybe can give some clues. In that sense, we can definitely perhaps fake out this level. Maybe there's something in here that you can look for as well. But as I mentioned, I'll prefer to see price not really reacting, at least from this level. All right, maybe break some kind of low, some structure in here, and then go and turn where this will open the door for price to go further down. So that would be the idea in here. So that's what we have a little bit on the dollar. Again, the move that we were looking for last week, it played out exactly as anticipated in terms of looking for that sell on the dollar, and now we need to reassess a little bit to see if prices want to continue to go lower, or if price is ready to start breaking new highs, and if there's any chance for us to sell at that double top kind of if price gets there. Right, looking at the US indices now. All right, so looking at the US indices at this point, we saw that S&P managed to break all-time highs. It already had broken all-time highs back in last Wednesday. All right, and then it retraced a little bit. It was actually a nice potential sell that happened in there. This is a fake out, kind of a small trading opportunity. But in reality, price continued to respect the levels. Like we're looking for this level, price even respected this demand zone in there, right? So that was nice to see. There was no reason to start looking for a bigger reversal from this level. Again, if you recall as well from last week, I did mention that maybe S&P is one that is going to be quite interesting next time it turns, especially if it starts breaking below these levels, because this low in here, I don't really think it's going to hold price anymore. I think eventually price 10 is going to go all the way until there, which is going to make it an even better opportunity to look for that sell in there, right? But we don't need to force that move. We can just anticipate and wait to see if that's even going to happen or not, right? And even if price bench starts moving a little bit more to downside, for example, first we need this, we have this structure here that price can still respect. And then yes, I do like that price is starting to compress quite a lot, but we do have this level as well here that price can also respect. Okay, that's basically a previous all-time high as well that was created in there. So that's something to keep an eye on. At this point, of course, the most important one, the structure, is this one. Right, so let's see if these lows actually manage to hold price or not, or if price by any chance just going to maybe just retest previous highs and start gaining momentum, or actually react from here, there, and then go. Like actually, something like this would be even better. Yeah, something like that would be actually quite great. Price just retest first the previous support resistance level in there and then goes into demand again. This is one of the setups that I like to see happening for a continuation setup. So that's a possibility in here on the S&P. Again, in terms of sales, be careful as well, because it's all-time highs. It's always a tricky situation that we don't really know. We don't have information from the left side, so it will be always tricky. Bongani, man, long time no see. How are you? How have you been? I'm good, by the way. I am good. How have you been, man? Thanks for joining one more time. All right, Nasdaq. As we mentioned as well, Nasdaq, it had a little bit more of room before even going and attempting to break new all-time highs. It was a little bit more bearish comparing with the S&P and also the Dow. Dow is going even further up. In terms of here, Nasdaq is something that we need to continue to track to see if there's going to be any selling pressure or not from here. All right. Now we do have those levels at the highs. I'm just tracking in here to see you did manage to break it, so that's breaking there to the downside. But this was one of the levels that you could see still some selling pressure, and then the next one is basically that one slightly higher in here. All right, and maybe if we go into the lower time frame, maybe we can see it a little bit better. Try to see if there's anything in there or not, but maybe there is above this high into this structure here. Maybe there are still sell orders in there, which you could see price reacting from. Otherwise, price may just go all the way through. But that's something. But that's something that we need to keep an eye on to see if this level actually is going to hold or not. We do have these left shoulders that eventually price could react from and push higher. And yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen at around this level. That will be the zone that I'm looking for, is basically where I have this mark as well. So that's what I'm going to keep an eye on in here on Nasdaq. Again, as I mentioned, in terms of Nasdaq, I'm kind of okay where actually this low is reacting from. It's not that there is, again, there's still space definitely to go all the way to the extreme in here at these lows, but where price reacted was a nice demand zone that actually was a good decision point to break out these highs. which means that price can actually just continue to go and eventually break all-time highs in here. However, the approach, as you can see, is quite compressed. Price is basically respecting those levels. So a really nice small engulfed downside in here, which is worth paying attention to. All right, so that's something to bear in mind in this zone. Yeah, definitely something to bear in mind. All right, we'll see. We'll see. I still like the idea of potentially selling it there. Bongani, I'm reading your comments now, so yeah, I'm good that you are always good, man. Fantastic. What am I saying, or what are my thoughts about the NFP? Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what's going to happen. If you were about to ask me, where do I think that, or if the market was about to be concerned about anything, what would that be about at this point? And that's still a question that maybe I don't really know. I still want to get a bit more of the feeling how the market is reacting. By market, I mean kind of the sentiment in the market. Like again, when is again back in 2022, the CPI was clear that was the focus. This year went from a little bit of inflation, even though not that much, but more in terms of to anticipate when the Fed would actually rate cuts for the first time. Then NFP, unemployment, was also a big factor to see if the economy is going to stabilize, or if we're going into a soft landing or a hard landing. And at this point, after Trump election, it's a little bit undecided. I think the market is quite positive. I'm not really sure if everything is as good as maybe the market is pricing in. Of course, with Trump in place, inflation is going to be something to still pay attention to, mostly after Trump takes charge in January, because of perhaps the tariff or whatever policies is he going to apply. Something to be aware of course, is all these tweets that Trump does out of a blue that can move the market, just like it happened this last Wednesday or Tuesday with Canada. Kind of that negotiation way of Trump, kind of mentioned that it would apply a 25% tariff on Mexico and Canada, if everything that would go into the US. Of course, it's just a negotiation play, but market reacts to it. The situation also between Russia and Ukraine is still a concern. We'll see how that's going to play out in there. But yeah, I still like. I'm not exactly a fundamental trader, but I like to understand. What the sentiment is. Like, I like to understand which data the market is more like, which one of the data is the most important in the specific moment, because that can be where the market is going to react most and can create a new cycle in the market depending on that data that comes out. NFP is still a concern. Like, we had a 12k data last month, which was one of the lowest that I can remember, and I've been doing this for more than 10 years. And now we are expecting 200k new jobs being created. So we'll see if that's going to get any close to that. But of course, unemployment, if the unemployment increases, that's always a concern. The Fed is anticipating another 25 basis points, or it can remain the same. That's another situation. Is the Fed going to keep the rate unchanged or not, just in precaution of maybe what the Fed and what Trump is going to do? That's another situation there. Yeah, I will stream on Thursday. On Thursday night, I will do the pre-market analysis. So yeah, I'm going to be looking at where the market is going to be before the NFP, and it's trying to identify the clues in the market. It's basically what we're going to be trying to look for, see where the space is and what direction I can anticipate for price to go towards to. Maybe can get some opportunities to trade. Yeah, but S&P, Nasdaq at this point, we'll see how price may react from the highs. The Dow is just gaining momentum, so that was the range a little bit. That was a nice move. I could even see price going slightly lower. That low didn't even react to it. It just reacted from this other level in here. it could even react one more time from that level. It didn't, it just continues. Like, so Dow now is just continuing to push higher, creating new all-time highs. Eventually we may get a little bit of a correction to this level, but for now just let it go. And we also have DAX, which also broke new all-time highs on Friday, so another big momentum in here. Kind of we talked about that as well, that price had broken the low, but then kind of this reaction here is really good. This low reacting exactly from that left shoulder makes it quite bullish, and everything in here at the highs, to be honest, was basically spiked. Like, so all these levels in here were a little bit spiked already, so the lack of orders in there, it was a problem, and price just moved to the upside now. Strong move, we'll see. All right, we'll see if the momentum actually continues or if there's a fake out in here and price pushes lower again. Like, again, the situation in Europe and especially in Germany is not the best. There's a lot of concern in there, a potential recession to potentially next year in Eurozone. So we'll see if that's going to happen or not. So we'll see if the DAX is actually ready to just move up to the upside, or it's going to find some selling pressure. I'm curious to track that. I think potentially we can have a good opportunity if price does move to the downside. We can go potentially all the way back into this structure again, and DAX sometimes make moves quite quickly, quite aggressive. So yeah, that 12 in here basically already hold price went away. Yeah, a little bit of compression in here. Yeah, right, so potentially looking for that reversal pattern to happen in here. That could be definitely a possibility of seeing price maybe going a little bit more to the upside, and then eventually going down, breaking some key level in here, and potentially moving lower. Right, so that could happen. We'll pay attention to. But the first target, of course, is in here. But if price then breaks this, then yeah, potentially can go all the way there. Yeah. What are you trading still? Like, have you been active? How has been your trading, Baghdadi? And then crypto. Yeah, crypto can be on the way to eventually. I'm actually curious to see if that prediction that I made last week or on Monday can play out in here. The first part is it was created. Let's see if now the second part is created with the break to the upside and then the move lower. Try to manipulate as many people as possible. This one in here, we mentioned that was still a zone where orders were there. The price reacted quite nicely from it. It actually now left a new zone in here as well, so there's potentially a new reaction from those highs, but all of a sudden Bitcoin starts to have way too many highs in here. So we'll see, but that's actually nice that price that you can create this structure and break, but we did manage to respect that one as well, so that's a good one. Yeah, not exactly an go to the downside yet from here. Yeah, we'll see in here on BTC. Again, the anticipation is to see when 100k is going to be there. Ethereum continues to move to the upside. That was also on the plans. We mentioned that as soon as price breaks basically that level, the next space available, it will be somewhere around here, this 3700, and that's basically price just moving towards there. So we broke, retest, and continue. No surprises whatsoever with that, and eventually can even challenge if it just continues to go higher, and there's something in here perhaps that price can react from. Otherwise, price is just going to go towards those previous highs in there and start eventually aiming towards finally the next all-time highs somewhere at around that level. Right, that could be eventually the move in here on Ethereum. Even when you're looking at Ethereum, Bitcoin is an interesting one. Again, this was exactly something that we talked about. Right, that reaction from this demand zone, expecting Ethereum to start being bullish after that. So we saw that, and I'm curious to see eventually when this Ethereum Bitcoin gets to this level, we may have a little bit of a correction on Ethereum. So that's something to bear in mind. Price is on its way, so that's a little bit of the expectation at this point. Solana also correcting a little bit. We'll see what's going to happen around this level in here. All right, now moving into the currency indices, Euro index. All right, so Euro index continues within this range in here. So we are quite bearish in here. I do believe that price may still wants to go further down, just similar to the euro dollar, but before that we could have some crash, right? So we'll see. We'll see what's going to happen. We may even have this gap in here for price to close. We do have that previous level in here also. The price can react from. Yeah, we'll see. It's not the clearest now. It's not really the clearest at this point. What's going to happen in here? I would like it to potentially to get a little bit higher before moving to downside. That could make it interesting. So yeah, that's something to keep an eye on in here. Then the yen index, like the yen index, this is something that we were also anticipating. We talked about the reversal at around this level. That was already 1 month ago that we start talking about that possibility, the price action that would happen around this level. A lot of patience, then we start breaking some highs, and that starts confirming the turn. It continues to create new highs, respecting the lows, and all of a sudden price is shifting right from bearish to bullish, and then the levels where it's respecting as well, really nice. After breaking this structure, breaks, retest, continues, and now you are looking for price to get perhaps closer to this level and can even go higher. Okay, can even go and close that gap in there, but for now we'll see how price may react from a little bit at around this structure. May have something in here, but nice move in here on the yen index. Yeah, we'll see. And because of this, of course, all the other yen pairs, individual yen pairs, they are just moving to the downside. This is an interesting one. It's an interesting range that we have in here. So we may get closer for a reaction from this level. Yeah, we may get some reaction from here. Right. Yeah, something to bear in mind. Right. Let's take a look at the individual currency person. Okay, just give me a second, guys. 1 second. All right, so let's take a look at the euro dollar now. So euro dollar, just similar to euro index to dollar index, to be honest. Euro index in the sense that I can still see more room to the downside as well. Even though in the bigger picture, euro dollar is reacting or reacted from a really good level. Those lows, okay, that's a really nice left shoulder as well. Kind of looking into the bigger stream of this, it's a really good zone where it ended up reacting in here. And also there was that fresh zone in there, also some structure in here. So it is actually a good level where price end up reacting, and no surprise that you can actually see some kind of correction here after also 2 months of moving constantly just in one direction. So that correction happened, and this was the pattern, right? So this is another pattern that that you look for, kind of that zone 2 type of a move where create a little bit of a range, price starting to break to the upside, kind of confirming the direction that it wants to go, but then it kind of creates that fake out. And in here we talked about this situation on Monday and Tuesday whenever that happened. In this case, euro dollar just closed the gap in here. You never really kind of retest one more time closer to these lows, which makes it perhaps a bit tricky depending on how you like to trade. In this circumstance, as I mentioned, I actually prefer to look for that long on the pound dollar because price was closer to this low in here, and I do like to protect that zone. On the euro dollar, price never really got closer to that, just to this level. It makes sense. And then the reaction from the left shoulder, right? That's kind of a second zen in here that you can look for a trade, especially after a new high being created in here. So after that, now price is just holding this upper edge in here, right? So it kind of creates an edge, creates that pattern, then start reacting just from the upper edge of that level while it's creating new highs. Good reaction from here, but eventually I would like to see this euro dollar moving a little bit more to the upside. Price has this zone in here. This is exactly where the pound dollar already reacted from. Euro is still somewhere in here. Pound and the euro dollar. Pound dollar and the euro dollar had exactly the same zone being created at around this level. Again, euro dollar hasn't really reacted from it. Pound dollar already reacted from. So maybe on the euro dollar you should be also expecting some kind of at least reaction from that level whenever price reacts from it or approaches that zone. So we'll see what's going to happen. Of course, this is also an interesting zone where price is at this previous level support resistance, which may already been touched in here. So it can be a little bit weaker at this point, to be honest. So that's something to bear in mind as well. It is kind of a little bit of a compression in here on the way price is moving upwards. It's not exactly creating that push, big momentum to the upside. Maybe the only zone that happened in here, it was somewhere in here. The price already kind of reacted or retraced a little bit, even took slightly that low. So that's interesting. We'll see first level in here on the pound, on the euro dollar, to see how price may react from it. If it starts just creating or moving to the upside, then let it go, right? But similar to the dollar index, when I asked the question, if price by any chance retraces back to those highs and perhaps create a double top in here, should you be looking for a sell on the dollar index? That's basically the same question on euro dollar. If price by any chance retraces back into somewhere in here, should we be looking for a long again on the euro dollar? Right, that's the question mark, and maybe we should or we shouldn't. We'll see. It's kind of a question to analyze that low, if there's anything in there, or maybe there's a little bit of a zone even underneath that where price can eventually go towards to. And of course, also paying attention to if this high, for example, if it just reacts from here and starts moving lower, it could still work because we did manage to break a high, but I would even prefer to see this euro dollar perhaps breaking something in here and then moving to the downside and then potentially moving upwards again. So we'll see. We'll see here on the euro dollar what's going to play out, but that's a little bit more of what I would like to see happening in here. Is there any orders in here? Maybe there's something in there as well that price could potentially react from. We'll see. But for now, yeah, paying attention to this level in there. But then even looking a little bit higher. Question mark. Okay. Right, pound dollar, right? So pound dollar, that's exactly what I mentioned. The zone is this one, right? That was the zone that was created, and then price created this well in here. Again, euro dollar is still reacting from here. Pound dollar had some reaction there as well, not so much, and then retested and did move higher. But again, now it's been reacting from this level, which is exactly the zone that I just mentioned on euro dollar, where I would like to see price eventually getting closer to. This level in here on the pound, it was quite good as well, so that's why I was also happy with those longs. Price broke it again, as I mentioned. Price got a little bit closer to this level, so that was great to see. The price reacted from it, even broke a new high, kind of come back into that level as well. So that was, in my opinion, a little bit of a better zone to look for longs comparing with euro dollar, and price just continues to move. Like, and it can continue to go higher. To be honest, again, it's another one that has been bearish for quite a long time, especially after the UK budget. It just become quite negative or quite bearish as well, or weak, the pound. So yeah, we'll see what's going to happen and where the pound is going to be at this week. Not exactly any relevant news in the UK that can affect the pound alone, so it's maybe more of a dollar move in here. And of course, if it breaks more to the upside from here, then maybe getting closer to this level in here. I don't think it's going to be any problem with that. And you'll see, maybe there's still something in here that that pound dollar can also react from if prices want to go a little bit lower, or perhaps something closer to this previous structure in here. So that will be something to pay attention to as well. In there, but yeah, it looks like that we could target something. We could target something in here. No doubt about it eventually, but for now, before that, we do have this previous previous support that can turn a little bit into resistance. Euro pound, like it found that level still in here to hold price, so we'll see how price may go into this level as well. Kind of, again, it's that typical euro pound kind of a move, and I'm not really seeing I'm not really interested in touching this at this point neither. So yeah, we'll see how price may evolve from here. Aussie dollar moving to the upside. Again, this was something that we were also potentially looking for. Price did manage to break that level. Price then came out the way to fake out that zone in here. So potentially this can be a little bit of the indication price may want to go even higher. The shape of the move in here is in such a compression way. Of course, at this point, you're looking to see how this Aussie dollar may react from here to see what's going to happen. Like, in addition to that, of course, we can pay attention a little bit to the other Aussie pairs and also New Zealand. I think New Zealand has been a little bit more bullish and more clear. We had interest rate in New Zealand this last week with another 50 basis points rate cut, if not mistaken. So that was interesting. We had that move, like that was something that we talked about. The reversal in here on New Zealand, price is reacting, or was reacting, from a perfect level of a demand zone in here, and since then price has been just moving to the upside again. They had that PA, and I also mentioned that eventually this one could go even higher in there, and it could even, again, this can be eventually the range that we will potentially be trading from. So we had this initial range in here, all right, that this one started to initiate that potential indication price wanted to go lower, just this last push up, and then there you go. And now we may have also somewhere around this level that can potentially be the play as well after price breaks that one, kind of going all the way towards that zone in here. All right, so again, we'll see. Of course, you may have that zone, you may have a few zones in here that price can react from, inclusive this one. But that can be quite interesting. Again, you can even be more precise, to be honest, and getting into actually this one in there. So yeah, that's going to be an interesting one. We may be in place for a potential good reversal in here on this own dollar. Again, if price does want to come back into this level again, is there any short in here? I think there is. I think even there is in that level, and potentially even in here. This was the interest rate decision that pushed price upwards. So yeah, this can be an interesting one somewhere around here. And even, yeah, the lows are quite good. Okay, the lows are quite good. So we could even go much higher, to be honest. So yeah, we'll see what's going to happen at around this level. But yeah, nice turn over the weekend. And then eventually, and then the individual yen pairs, when you're looking at this euro house as well, which corrected a little bit, again with a little bit of strength in here on the euro pairs last week, which again, if this one does want to continue to move forward, which I would like to see, perhaps a new high being created in here, so getting a little bit closer into this level, and then we could see this euro Aussie moving lower, which means that Aussie dollar could go higher. Now this one here was already potentially break to the upside, so price could even go actually higher from here. But this is something to pay attention as soon as price perhaps go or break that level. Pay attention to this level in here to see if there's anything in there or not. Again, the reaction is really good because we just fake out this double bottom and price is reacting from a great level in here on the left side. So that's a great level to look for a long, and price reacted from it quite nicely. And again, with that aggressive move on the 22nd, and then price kind of end up holding and pushing higher. Yeah, so basically we got really close to the target, to be honest, of this move now. Yeah, so we will see. It's something to actually can give some bias as well, some confluence with what you want to look for eventually on the Aussie dollar in there. Looking at the Aussie yen, like the other yen pairs, starting looking at the yen pairs, it was just a move to downside. Again, we saw yen index moving upwards, which means that all these yen pairs have been just moving to the downside, and it has been quite again, no surprise whatsoever. We had initially this range that we're looking to fill, can even go lower, to be honest. Price can get definitely closer to this next level in here. But yeah, that was the initial target. Price actually reacted a little bit, but then just continued to push lower. That was a nice pattern here, which started to break lows, fake out, and then it went to the downside. That was really interesting. And again, at this point, potentially could go lower, but because we actually had such a momentum to the downside for the last few days, we may be getting closer, at least just for a retracement before potentially continuation to the upside. We'll see how price may react from this zone in here, right? So that's something to bear in mind. Looking at the dollar yen, no surprise whatsoever as well. So we're looking for that exact same move. We identify the range, we identify the lows being broken already on the way up until eventually finally price turns. We mentioned that this value here could be quite interesting for the dollar yen to react from. It starts having exactly that behavior, and now price is filling the range. Now it started to react from this interesting demand. Breaking below that level can go a little bit lower and perhaps can start reacting from maybe something in here, right? So that's something to pay attention to. Maybe from around this level we can have some kind of reaction, something to keep in mind. But where it is right now, also we could find some zone in here. Like we did manage to break a little bit to the upside from those highs. We start having this range. It's typical for a continuation setup as well. So you break to the downside, you start creating a lot of highs, a lot of the tops, to then just fake out the level into the previous level support resistance, super level in there, and then it just push lower. Nevertheless, it starts being an engulf to the upside. Okay, so that starts to show a little bit of strength in here from the buyers, but may not be from here. Price may still wants to go a little bit further down before potential return, which eventually it's going to happen eventually in there. So that's something to keep in mind. So we'll see. And is price ready to go all the way closer to this level, or going to find some first reaction a little bit from one of these zones in here? That's going to be an interesting one, but it could start going a little bit even further down, start aiming perhaps closer to this level in there. Now, if you ask me, is this the last high in here that I would like to see dollar yen going or reacting from before making out this move? Maybe not. Maybe eventually this dollar yen could get a little bit closer, of course, to this extreme, but we'll see. Okay, we'll see. Price does want to go a little bit deeper first before making that move higher. Is there any level in here to look for shorts? Yes, there's still the extreme of the extreme, even above that level. In this level here, there's maybe still a fresh, and maybe something around this level as well could be something to bear in mind as well. All right, looking at the euro yen, right? Just a continuation to the downside as well. Again, it's beautiful, and basically price initially filled the range, then broke it even below it, reaction, and moves downside. So it's literally just waiting to see what euro yen may do from around this level. That's something to bear in mind, even though looking at this time frame right now, yeah, maybe there's still something fresh in here that this euro yen could benefit from. But the way price reacted from this level, it looks like a great level of potential for price to go even further down, and potentially can even go all the way to take these lows in here. So that's something, yeah, definitely to bear in mind. Yeah, potentially price can even go further down in there, but I could see some reaction from here first. But I could see a little bit of a reaction from here first, and then you'll see price just continues to move lower or not. Yeah, yeah, that's a nice one as well. And pound yen, exactly the same thing, right? So literally finishing filling out the range, the price that you were looking for, and that's it. Like that small fake out of that important high into that structure still, then price broke the low, retested all the way, and now moved to the downside, broke the walls again, retest again, and really nice PA. In here it starts to show all that compression, not really managing to break that high. It starts to show a lot of compression, which means that we may be getting a little bit closer to potential reversal or retracement in here on the end pairs, inclusive also pound yen. If you start looking a little bit underneath this level, I can maybe go all the way through in terms of yep, maybe price already reacted from all of them, unless there's something in here that is extreme that maybe price didn't really reacted from. That's possible. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, price pause in there. Yeah, price pause in here, so that can be an interesting one to investigate this a bit more into the wartime frame. Yeah, it looks like that price left this level behind. Yeah, I could see it. It can be an interesting one. Yeah, there's definitely some space in there. Then you do have this level in there as well. Yeah, that looks good on the pound yen. It's basically just waiting to see pound yen to fake out this low and then extend this level in here. Yeah, that looks nice. Right. CAD yen, yeah, it just continues. Yeah, right. CAD yen is this another one that just continues, also respected basically the same structure in there. Created all this compression. That was a little bit of the zone that you're looking for. Price is even breaking out this demand zone in here, or kind of that initial level. If you look a bit more into the lower time frame, maybe that's the zone that we can anticipate or look for CAD yen to have some kind of reaction as well. So perhaps in here can be an interesting level. Second. Okay, sorry. Yeah, so that's definitely something to keep an eye on, and we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. Nice strong move. At the end, sorry, dollar cards. Right, dollar card make that move to the upside. We're looking for it, and now kind of finding a little bit of selling pressure. So we'll see what's going to happen in here as well. I think I would like to see this again. This starts to become kind of the pattern talked about it. There's that initial break to downside. There is a fake out really quite aggressively. That was the move with the Trump tweet, right, about the 25% tariffs that Trump said that it would implement in Mexico and Canada. We had a really strong move, but then again, that was kind of a fade move in there, and prices came all the way down one more time. So yeah, attention to potentially looking in there. Yeah, we'll see. A similar question: if price goes slightly higher, is there any sales opportunities in there? I think there potentially is, and yeah, even breaking new zone in there and start opening the door to go even further down. Euro cards. Just like the other euro pairs also corrected to the upside during this week. Strong reaction from that zone. We'll see how price may react from around this level, right? That's basically a little bit of the curiosity, and there's maybe something in there. Yeah, something to keep an eye on. Yeah, pound card. Yeah, pound card similar as well. Kind of went all the way, pick out slightly that level into here. So the bullish movement continues in here now. The correction, and we'll see. We'll see how price may react a little bit from this level. This was a really strong move down, but then a strong correction now at this point from here. So I'm curious to see how price may react from this daily level in there. All right. Get outcut for a while, but outcut continues to be within this range, so there's no change in there. Looking at our front Swiss, this was another one that we're looking for potential sales, and the reaction was really good. Right, so the reaction from this level in here, it was really good with that gap, and then price moving lower and just kept respecting this level. Like the very next at least went closer to that level. The R front Swiss didn't even manage to pass through this initial zone, pushing lower as well, kind of breaking, just continue to push lower in here. Similar question, if price gets closer to this level, is there anything worth to sell, or should we just let basically price resume is overall trend? That's a good question mark. In terms of target to the downside, yeah, potentially getting closer to something in here could also work. Yeah, but for now, again, that initial turn, it's playing out quite nicely. We can look at gold as well. My gold now is basically within this bigger picture range. In here, we did manage to break below that level, but price just respects straight away that zone. In there, we do have still this level in here where gold can also go towards to. Price basically broke, broke those two levels. This was a really good reaction. On the other hand, gold could even go slightly higher to even look for another big sell in here as well. So that's an interesting one. Do have a big range around this level in here that you can play with. And yeah, that's basically, yeah, we'll see. You can look at silver as well. Silver that did manage to fake out slightly that low. Yeah, we'll see. Could range a little bit. Definitely that's the target, or to the downside where we're looking for. Oil, which is approaching again this interesting level, right? So I'm looking for oil to get a little bit closer again to this level. We have been in this range for quite a while. Price did have a good reaction from this level, but of course didn't really manage to break those highs. It didn't even get closer to the extreme. In my opinion, I think the extreme was a little bit higher comparing with where actually price ended up reacting from. So we'll see. Like Brent, I think can be quite similar. Yeah, it's basically the same type of approach with possibility still to actually react from here. Yeah, oil as well in there. So we'll see how price may react from this level. Potentially can have some longs, nice breaking here to the upside, just to trap everyone that was trying to sell in here. They got trapped, and then potentially some of the guys actually went long in here. The price just dropped from here. So interesting closing for the weekend. in here. And I think there continue to be an interesting opportunity. Again, situation in the Middle East kind of slow down a little bit, and then Ukrainian direction, that's a little bit more of a concern at this point. So yeah, we'll see how it's going to play out for this week and this end of the year. That's basically it in terms of what you're going to be looking for. Just to summarize, last week we were looking for the sales on the dollar, longs on the euro, on the pound, New Zealand, and so on, and we had it, right? So we had this initial reaction on the dollar to the downside, and now question mark is what's going to happen after that. Like, should we now anticipate in here on the dollar for price to just resume the move to the upside, or should we look at this a little bit further down before the dollar can continue perhaps resuming the move upward? Like, when they are looking a little bit for price to get a little bit closer to this level, and then we also discussed if by any chance price does want to go slightly higher again, should we by any chance look for sales at the highs, right? Question mark in there. I explained this a little bit in the video, what we'll be looking for that to happen, and then the same thing on the euro in terms of longs, pound as well. In terms of the N pairs, that's an interesting one. We have been making that big move to the upside on the N index, the downside on the other N pairs. We are getting closer to a potential level where we can have some retracement, where potentially the final target of this move can actually be the highs. Okay, we may actually go all the way to the highs in here on this N index, but not really expecting price to move just in a straight line. Expecting more of price actually ranging a little bit, maybe retracing a little bit and going again, kind of more of a typical price movement in here, which can benefit from potential trades on the N pairs. Indices breaking all-time highs. Nasdaq, I'm curious to see if price is still going to respect that highs or not. What else? We have gold as well in an interesting level, but now it's in the middle, so we'll see how price may react. And the dollar, in the oil, as I just talked about, moving to the downside, where we may get more buying pressure as price is getting closer to those levels again. We just take a look at VIX in here, which price is coming back closer to this demand zone. Again, last time price was around this level, then we saw a push higher, which can create volatility, and usually when you see those push higher, it means that the indices are actually moving to the downside. So as VIX is approaching this level in here, it's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen in here. All right, so that's something to bear in mind as well. With that being said, guys, thank you very much. I'll see you tomorrow for another pre-market analysis. Have a nice, again, happy month. Don't forget to subscribe if you are new. Trying to push to the 700 and then eventually 1000 subs, so help me get there. And thank you guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye. Obrigado.